Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
As a seasoned divorce lawyer, I should have seen my own divorce coming, yet I was completely blindsided. It was an ordinary Thursday morning in 2003. I'd been busy getting our daughters, then aged 4 and 8, ready for school, and I popped my head round my ex-husband's study door to ask what he'd like for supper later. Instead of the reply I was expecting, he said, "This isn't working." In an instant, his totally unexpected and devastating words changed the lives of me and my children. After 13 years of marriage, despite all the usual struggles of balancing work, family and life, I had thought we were doing fine. My initial reaction was utter disbelief, and I asked, "Is this some kind of joke?" But I'd seen that steely, hardened look on clients' faces, and I knew, with horror and deep sorrow, that he had already mentally checked out of our relationship. In fact, he had been planning that bombshell for some time, and I was served with divorce papers soon after. Sadly, mine is not an uncommon divorce scenario. On reflection, I am still astonished that, despite my decades of experience immersed in the turmoil of unhappy and warring couples, I could have missed the warning signs. Perhaps, like many of my clients, I'd chosen to ignore or overlook them. It is clear to me now that I had been sleepwalking my way into divorce. And I'm far from alone. My own experience of divorce has undoubtedly deepened my comprehension and empathy for the pain and suffering my clients experience, making me a better divorce lawyer. And today I actively work to help divorce-proof marriages. The latest statistics show that 1 in 3 marriages break up, and, if my observations are correct, at least one of the other 2 in 3 marriages are not particularly happy either. In my 30-year legal career, I've advised more than 400 couples, guiding them through some very complex, high-profile cases involving multi-million-pound settlements, and I have learned to spot the troubling behavioral patterns that can so easily derail relationships. Sometimes, by the time a person seeks my advice, it's too late to save their marriage. But in my experience, if your relationship has been going sour, you usually have 18 months to 2 years of persistent disgruntlement and discontent before either of you completely checks out. This critical relationship rescue window is your chance to try to repair those fractures, perhaps even pull your relationship back from the brink. Here's what to do if you find yourself in it. Put your eye back on the ball. My first plea is vigilance. Don't let a good relationship fall into a state of disrepair while you're preoccupied with other responsibilities. If you've taken on the role of bringing up children, running the house, and also trying to keep your career bubbling, as I did, it's all too easy to lose sight of prioritizing your relationship. I see it all the time. If I'm brutally honest, this was one reason why my previous marriage failed. I'd taken charge of the day-to-day care of our children, but I was determined not to give up my thriving legal career. Yet, at times of high stress, setting off for a long day at court as the nanny calls in sick, I did resent my ex-husband for not leaning in more to help with the girls. His frequent work travel added to the strain. When he finally dropped his "this is not working" bombshell, it was already too late to work on our marriage, despite my best efforts. In hindsight, we didn't dedicate enough time or energy to better communicate and repair our relationship frustrations. Make sure you do. Make your sex life sizzle. It would be a mistake to underestimate the importance of sex in a relationship. In my professional experience, I've noticed a massive connection between the loss of interest in sex by one of you, and the appeal, for the other, of having an affair to make up for the lack of intimacy. A sexless marriage doesn't always spell doom, and it is not unusual for the volume on sex to dial down with time, but a mismatch of sexual needs and desires can cause resentment and frustration. I'll never forget one woman who came to me for advice because a friend had spotted her husband at an industry function, on the dance floor in a passionate clinch with a blonde. The friend was gushing about how wonderful it was to see her still smooching with her husband after all these years. My client, who also has